Hi everybody and welcome to Matrix Live episode 20. I can't believe we've done 20 of these. It's like almost a full season of episodic TV.
Yeah, it's already there, yep. So on the funding side, well, a lot have changed since the episode 1. So still growing in terms of donations. So thank you again, everyone, for your help and support there on the new vector long-term funding side of things. We're still plugging away. The end is in sight, but well,
Not just space. Hopefully the end is really in sight, but who knows with these things. Try to do about Synapse? Okay. So on Synapse, it's generally been maintenance and stability work. Rich did a really nice PR to delete devices at long last when you log out from your account, which was causing all sorts of odd problems of end-to-end. I did a PR to, quite why I'm working on Synapse, I have no idea, but I did a PR to go and allow the user directory to query all of the users on a server and not just the ones who are in public rooms, which some people want for their particular servers. It's a bit of a hack, and certainly would be interesting to get better user directory stuff in future.
Oh yes.
And Dendrite, good stuff has been happening. The key signing federation stuff and basically getting the thing to federate is still progressing well, but it's not quite there yet. More fun is implementing Jaeger, which is Uber's implementation of the opentracing framework, which is now integrated into Dendrite fully, so that you can basically trace requests as they bounce around between all the different modules of Dendrite, and that could be whether it's a single monolith process or whether it is a polylith of multiple dendrites acting as a cluster. And if you look on Twitter, you'll see, or for that matter Mastodon, you'll see a little screenshot that Eric took earlier today showing message sending in Jaeger, and you can literally expand it out to look at all of the individual SQL requests and see which ones are taking that long and all the different machines that it traverses. It's a very cool distributed logging stuff there. And also we're seeing a bunch of community contributions still, particularly from Anoa Dragon still, so thank you very much.
So the small chuckle about the polylith is that there was a huge debate of what was the opposite of a megalith, monolith.
Monolith, yeah. So we decided that Synapse is a megalith because it's just a single massive monolith. Dendrite monolith is a little monolith, and then the polylith is like Stonehenge or something.
Yeah, sorry. On the Riot website, a lot of stuff have been happening. We have the TagPanel, which I still don't know why it's called TagPanel, but basically the panel on the extreme left, which is listing all your communities, is live on develop, and it's really cool. And
it's not finished.
It's not finished.
We're getting a lot of very fraught feedback from people saying, it doesn't do precisely what I hoped, and that's because it's about a quarter done.
Yeah, that's why it's behind the labs checkbox,
right? It turns out the labs checkbox was accidentally turned on by default.
Okay, so that
it wasn't meant to be, and that explains why everybody was complaining about it.
Okay, so but it's getting together, and it will be here, and it will be amazing. Luke also implemented multiple device deletion, which is helpful, and Dave is trying to survive and desperately trying to fix the UISIs by moving from local storage to indexeddb, but basically it's a nightmare. So, hope it's he's getting there, right?
Yeah, I don't know, yes, it's just the indexeddb API is not fun, and the whole problem here is that it's the whole issue where if you run two tabs at the same time, if you have local storage, they collide and it corrupts all of your end-to-end state like catastrophically, and it's one of the most common causes of UISIs, which we're trying to fix it, but it's a mess. It's a bit depressing because even if we do fix this one, there are probably edge cases where if you suspend and unsuspend a tab with the same indexeddb, it might still collide. And
so I'm still having a hard time thinking why people have multiple tabs open, but the idea of suspending
just accidentally,
like edge case. Well,
anyway, you click if you literally just click a link twice. Imagine that somebody emails you a Riot link and you click it and it fires up a new Riot, then game over. Same problem exists on mobile too. If you do something ridiculous like restore a backup of your phone onto a new device, and then you have two versions of Riot running around with the same end-to-end state, you hit precisely the same problem. And there ain't nothing we can do about that. It's a really frustrating bit of the protocol.
Yeah, so speaking about Riot Mobile, we had a release of iOS today with key sharing support, so yay, and black theme thanks to Aaron Ramist, and it's amazing. I just turned it on and it's really, really cool. And we also have a slightly growing increase of UISIs. So
possibly, like anecdotally, it seems we've got more UISIs.
I don't know if we're getting more paranoid or what, but yeah, if you see any, please rate shake on both sides so that it helps, so that we can debug it and find, try to find the reason for this.
This is like a beautifully structured show this week, and that this beautifully segues onto me now talking about UISIs and crypto in general. Because
we're organized.
Oh, absolutely. Everything is perfectly meticulously scripted and in no way improvised. The UIC stuff is really interesting because I don't know, I've decided to go to war and try to kill the remaining end-to-end problems. Some of this is being accelerated by customers on the new vector side of things who are paying us to do consulting work to make Matrix less. And strangely enough, one of the top things on the list is to fix all of the possible keyshare scenarios which don't work. So I've really spent a bunch of this week bugging the team in general, trying to hunt down the remaining ones. And we're at the point where, unless it's something that we know, an obvious, like running 2 tabs at the same time, if we see unexpected UISIs or unable to decrypt errors, as they're called these days, please do raid shake on both the sender and the receiver, ideally correlating the 2 bug reports so that we can hunt them down. That said, we do think that we do know all of the current causes of them. And there has been a huge debate, which people might have seen happening in various different rooms over the course of the week, over whether backing up your megohm keys incrementally, dynamically on the server is going to help things in terms of fixing UISIs. The idea being that we already have keyshare semantics, so that if I can't decrypt one of Amandine's messages, I can say, hey, Amandine, can you send me the keys? And assuming that she's online, her phone will, and assuming that we've verified each other's phones with one another, her phone will automatically send me the keys, and I get rid of the UIC. Hey presto, it's brilliant, and Spot's just gone live on iOS and was already live on Android and web. But what happens if her phone wasn't online? What happens if you send me a message, I log in on a new phone, and
yeah, you lose your phone basically, and you don't have your second device to check it.
Yeah, so either I needed to know to manually back up my keys before I lost my device, which, let's face it, nobody does, or we need to have some kind of incremental key backup mechanism which goes and stores the keys somewhere, possibly on your Matrix home server, could be somewhere else, we don't really care, as long as when I log in on a new device I have some mechanism to pull the keys back down again. So there has been a huge circular debate on whether we should do this by prompting for a passphrase, optionally to let people back their stuff up when you log into a new device, or whether it should happen transparently and you should only ever enter a passphrase when you restore from the server. And basically debating the different types of UISIs which this fixes. And we still haven't quite got a conclusion on it, and predictably enough, the team is split down the middle into folks who think that we should prompt for a passphrase when you log in, which then sets a 2-way backup process going, which helps you recover from UISIs, and the other half who think that we shouldn't be recovering keys from the server unless you do a big restore process, and then you don't need to keep a decryption key around your client. It's a long, tortuous process. If you're interested, go to hash end-to-end or e2e:/matrix.org, and you can see all the Google Docs and the debates which have been going on there. Thank you for everybody who's got involved in that. I was hoping to write the code to actually fix this thing like this week. In practice, it's half. Yeah, and spent a week specking it instead. As it happens, the APIs on Synapse, I think, are the same for both approaches, so we might just go and implement the APIs whilst people trying to decide what data we're actually storing, whether it's going to be symmetrically encrypted or whether it's a public key infrastructure approach instead. We'll see. Anyway, the good news is that we are making progress on end-to-end again, with both me and Dave working pretty much solidly on it at the moment. So, yay! It'd probably be even better if it wasn't me working on it. But yeah, got to make do with what we can at the moment.
Yeah. Widgets.
Oh yeah, widgets.
Stability. Basically stability, usability improvement. And just let us know if you see that custom widgets have regressed because a bunch of changes happened there.
Yeah, I saw somebody complain that their custom widgets no longer worked, and I can't remember who or where. And so my bug report to Rick, who was working on it, wasn't very helpful. But if anybody has seen broken custom widgets, please let us know. I think that's about it.
I think so too.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll be back for the season finale next week. The question is it going to be a big TNG-style cliffhanger which moves into the next season, or is it going to be more of a Joss Whedon cliffhanger?
So you've arbitrarily decided that the season is 21 episodes?
Of course it's 21 episodes. Like TNG was always 21 episodes. Buffy, she was sometimes 22, but let's imagine that it was 21. What else is there? There's basically nothing in this world apart from TNG and Buffy.
Yeah, probably.
It's not like we're going to do crappy, 8-episode, 10-episode Stranger Things style miniseries. That would just be very frustrating and unfulfilling.
Okay, let's see. We could say if long-term funding is the...
Well, if we can announce long-term funding next week, that would be a proper season finale thing. Yep. It would be like a TNG one. But the thing is, if we were doing it more like a Joss Whedon TV series like Buffy, he ended up trying to, starting about season 4 of Buffy, I think, the penultimate episode ended up being the big explosive one, which wrapped up the season. And then you have this coda episode at the end of the season. I think the first one was, what was it? Restless, season 4, episode 22 of Buffy. David Lynch inspired episodes. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. It's incredible, and it's this amazing sort of coda hiatus episode between the main body of the season and then going into the next one. And after he did that, I think it was the first time that pattern was used. Loads of people have used it. Okay. Anyway, it's probably not very relevant to Matrix. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Speak to you next week. Bye.
Bye.